Hello, random viewer. My name is John Green, and Keanu Reeves is my new god.
Oh, Canada.
Today we are reviewing Mattel's Toy Story 4's Stunt Racer Duke Caboom. That was a mouthful. So, a little backstory. Duke Caboom is a stunt toy played by Keanu Reeves in the fourth installment of the Toy Story franchise. Going off on a tangent for a minute, Keanu Reeves has been doing great for himself recently. I think it has something to do with his role in the first John Wick movie, because after that, the guy's been seen everywhere. Other movies, commercials, videos showing how nice and how much of a badass he is, and even in my new religion once it comes out next year. But enough about him, let's talk about his toy. Starting with the packaging, I mean, this is a toy made for 3 to 5 year olds, so there really isn't much. The front is an open display, where you can also press this thing. Oops. And the back shows how to play with him and some other junk. Lastly, at the bottom is where you open the box from first. This is just to take off the hooks that are connecting the launch pad to the packaging itself. Let's free Caboom from his cardboard prison and take a closer look at him. Duke Caboom comes with a launch pad, the motorcycle, himself, and some instructions. The launch pad is this plain red with cartoony details sculpted in, looking something like a crate or a dynamite plunger, and has this ramp and on both sides some notches for the bike to be hooked onto once it's revved up. The motorcycle is just a simple white with red and silver painted details. There's also sculpted motorcycle details, but they're not painted. The mufflers are a light, almost chrome silver. And to drive home that this is a toy from Canada, maple leaves decorate the majority of the bike, right down to even the rims of the wheels. And while we are on the subject of the bike, I just want to throw this out there that the gimmick does not work. Much to my and Deshaun's disappointment, apparently in the instructions you're supposed to rev the bike back and forth and lock it into the launch pad. I did. And the moment I pressed the plunger down, he was completely stationary. I even wiggled the dang thing, but all that did was make the motor of the back of the wheel go off, while it was still stuck on the launch pad. I found that the mufflers are a bit too thick, so they tend to wedge into the sides of the launch pad, preventing Duke from functioning as intended. My one solution would be to just sand the sides of the launch pad. I have not done it myself, but I'm sure that will probably work. That shattering expectation aside, Duke himself is surprisingly posable. I mean, it said so on the box. At least that one was not a blatant lie. I'm not going to get into everything about the figure in terms of look and sculpt, but I could say it is pretty spot on to how he looks in the movie. He even has Ken's lips and uncolored mouth. Gross. Also, the cape he has is a rubbery, flexible plastic, and honestly, I prefer that. You know how much of a pain it would be if it was actual cloth? That thing would be gone in by at least 2 weeks. By the way, no, you cannot remove the helmet. It is glued right onto the head. And the visor does not move up or down at all, so you can barely see the rest of Duke's face. Getting to his posability, he has a swivel at the head, no up or down. Arm is at a hinge and swivel, but cannot spin a full 360 due to the plastic cape. And from here, the limbs are exactly the same. Hinge and swivel for the single jointed knees and elbows. His wrists, the same thing. His waist, a swivel, and lastly, his feet. They do nothing at all. They're just sculpted. No hinge, no pivot, not even a goddamn swivel. Going back to the bike real quick, I forgot to mention that it has this extension thingy. It's just a support on cylinder wheels. It goes up and down, and on the instructions it's labeled as stunt and wheelie modes. Well, at least that's one part of the gimmick I will actually get a kick out of. And lastly, size comparisons. Duke and strangely his bike are both the same size, at about 5 inches. Here he is with Marvel Legends Machine Man, My Hero Factory Mock Warhead, and lastly, Overwatch Ultimate's Reinhardt. Links in the description, check out that video! With all that, would I say that this guy is worth it? Kinda? If you are getting this for a kid that has seen the movie, I can see them having a ball with this figure. Duke and his bike are built pretty solid, so breaking or even damaging the figure won't be an issue. My one disappointment is that the launch pad, which is just a glorified latch release, does not work. And it's not even the launch pad's fault. The mufflers on the bike are so fat they wedge onto the sides of the launch pad. Again, sanding the sides of them should solve that issue. Just don't go so far as to actually break through into the plastic and break the whole mechanics. I bought this guy at Target for like 21 bucks, and what I got out of it was not terrible, but okay. If you enjoyed this grown man reviewing a kid's toy, give this video a like and maybe subscribe to see more of what this channel has to offer. Thanks for stopping by. I will see you all later.